This is part 4 of our Breath of the Wild video series, and in this part, this is actually going to be a very important part early in the game. We're going to raise the Sheikah Towers out of the ground all across Hyrule, and we're going to get a couple cutscenes kind of filling us in on what's going on in the game world.
It's definitely the most important part by far. Now, it only is 4 parts into the game,
True.
but just these towers, I gotta admit, they're probably one of my favorite parts of Breath of the Wild, and just... I mean, it's probably one of my favorite things, really, that's ever happened in a Zelda game because, one, they will offer, like, a warp point so we can travel to, like, any of these towers. But also, like, they offer amazing views of the game and just...
Yeah, they
like,
do.
In Zelda games, like, we can get kind of high, but we've never been able to get, like, this high in a Zelda game and see these kind of views, so I love for that. And they'll actually create some puzzles on how to actually get up these towers. So, towers right here, I love it. Love the whole aspect of it and how they used it in the game.
And plus just this cinematic of like the animals and then the bokoblins like looking around trying to figure out why the world is shaking around them. And then we get these great like panoramic views of Hyrule, like all these different areas with the towers raising out of them. We get to see a lot of like brief glimpses, of course, but brief glimpses of a bunch of different areas in the game world. And I really love just this cinematic is one of my favorites in the game that I've seen, not just in the first 4 parts that we've done so far, but just like in our own personal playing as well.
Well, the whole activity guide says I put in over 100 hours into Breath of the Wild. Now, I do I do disagree with that because, Red, I don't know if you do this, but I actually leave my game on a lot while I'm not playing. I think that added the time a little bit, but I'm kind of going along with you. Like you said, I don't know how far I'm in the game. I'd say maybe halfway. And still to like this day, that is the coolest visual. So I do agree with you on that. And then also it kind of like, okay, we've already seen a little bit of the Sheikah and their technology with the Sheikah Slate and the kind of the pillar or the, whatever you want to call it, and the Shrine of Resurrection. But now with this tower rising out, we see like really how like big their technology and how advanced it was.
It really was, and we see it a lot throughout the game, not only with the towers, but also with like the shrines we go through, and just other little, and the slate itself, like you mentioned, just going through. We see just these pieces of technology that the Sheikah had, and it really is cool to think about it. But you know, we've been asleep for 100 years, as you know, they keep pounding into us. So you know, I guess technology came a long way in 100 years.
Yeah, well, it was there before. Like it actually started falling apart. Like we're kind of getting the whole cutscene right here about the 100 years ago and what kind of happened. It's kind of nice to actually get a little bit of a cutscene, or you kind of realize a little bit what's happened and why we woke up in like a Forever Young state or something like that, like the movie Forever Young. Anyways, with Mel Gibson,
the Michael Bolton song.
But it's kind of just nice to get this cutscene right here and kind of, okay, this is a little bit of the story and what we're going to be doing in the game, and just seeing that like a Calamity Ganon going around Hyrule Castle right there, I thought was just an awesome visual.
Agreed, and I love the idea that he's like imprisoned there, he's trapped there right now, Zelda is holding him there right now, and he's kind of in this smoke form or whatever it is. I do hope, and again, we haven't beat the game, so we don't know what the end game is like.
Yeah, if you have, don't be that person on the comments that spoils it for us either, please.
Yeah, come on. I'm just hoping there's like a more physical, more substantial form to Ganon, like maybe he's returned to his full strength later on. Whether it's Beast Ganon or like the Ocarina of Time Ganondorf form. I assume it'd be Beast Ganon just based on the Calamity form that he's in right now. But I'm hoping there's something a lot more substantial that we'll face at the end of the game, because like I said, we haven't gotten there ourselves yet personally, so again, don't spoil it for us.
Well, he has to change because there's no way we could defeat that thing no matter what we did. There's no weapon.
Oh, I agree.
Light arrows would do nothing against that thing surrounding Hyrule Castle, so I'm with you. I'm kind of hoping there's more of like a physical form, I guess you could say, rather than like I don't even know what you call that, the black smoke monster from Lost or something like that. But
that's a perfect description for it.
One thing that I really don't like, pink and black, that's a color sometimes that can go together. I don't really care for it in this sense. It also reminds me kind of the Palace of Twilight. In that whole Twilight area, so I'm not.
And if you've ever heard us talk about that place, you know how much we hate it.
So I'm not really a fan of the color scheme of Ganon, but you know we'll see as we kind of go along. You know how it all plays out and everything.
For sure. I'm a little surprised, like, in the sorry, excuse me. In prior Zelda games, we have seen, like, almost more of a purple be used as an evil form or an evil color. Like, we see it with Vati in Minish Cap. We see it with Majora's Mask, obviously, is probably the best example.
Yeah.
But we almost see it like that dark purple is, like, the evil color. So seeing, like, this weird, like, highlight or like neon pink was a bit of an odd choice, but again, we haven't actually got to Ganon yet, so we'll see what it turns into.
Do you think it had anything to do with like the art style? Well, probably had to do with the art style, but like the whole anime style. Do you think maybe, I don't know if that's an important or popular color in anime? I'm not really a big anime fan, so I really don't know. I hope I'm saying that right. I think I am. So
you are.
I don't know if that maybe had something to do with it or not, but I don't know. Right off the bat, I'm just not a fan of him. But I guess when you're trying to show Ganon from like that kind of distance and you want to make him look menacing, I guess that's kind of a form that you have to show. And I guess it kind of does make sense that he's like engulfing the whole Hyrule Castle. So
absolutely.
The whole smoke, fog, blah, 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 it kind of does go along with the whole he's kind of being contained in Hyrule Castle, which I'm not sure if they said that yet, but they do say it sometime soon if they haven't.
They do at some point. Like you said, they may have not said it yet, but it's like Zelda is keeping him trapped there. And we do see that with that form. Now, this old man, sorry,
you okay there, Red?
I got to drink more beer, apparently. But,
I don't think that's your problem.
That's a good point. I do like how the old man, like, we've been stuck on this plateau, and he tells us he's got this paraglider, which, by the way, turns into one of my absolute all-time favorite Zelda items. And he says that he'll trade it for us for a treasure, and that will be what allows us to get off this great plateau. Here, we're still a few parts away from that, but there's going to be a couple shrines we have to go through.
3.
I think it's 4, isn't it?
I thought it was 3. I thought you had this one, and then I think 2 up on the mountains. But you know what? It's been so long, it could be 4. But I feel like for some reason it was 3.
I think it's 4 because we get our first. Well, not to go too spoilery, but we get our first like heart upgrade once we do.
Maybe that sounds
anyway,
fine.
The point is, it's great that he's telling us how we can finally get off this plateau.
Yeah.
And I know we haven't been on it for too long, and like we said, we could breeze through the plateau if we really wanted to, but the paraglider, once we get it, does become one of my all-time favorite items.
Well, at this point, you really don't know that you could, or at least I didn't know that I couldn't go off the Great Plateau. Like, when I first came out, and even in this area... Oh, did you?
Jumped off.
Okay, I did not do that. I guess I hadn't made to the edge of the Great Plateau. This, once again, goes back to you exploring more than I do, but I just never made to this edge, and so the whole time, until I talked to the old man, I thought I could go anywhere in the game. I didn't know I was actually being contained, so... for me, I guess it's kind of cool not knowing that and not jump to my death like you did, I guess.
I tried climbing down the side.
That's not a bad idea.
You run out of stamina long before you get to the bottom of that. So I found that out the hard way. Now, this is kind of what I mentioned earlier. Like, you see me kind of climbing on this wall or bridge, whatever it used to be. And I mentioned a part or two ago that, like, I tried to explore as many of those kind of things that I can. Yeah. And I got really lucky on that shot, by the way. But
that's skill there, Red. That's all skill.
That's what it is. But I try to explore as much of that stuff as I can just to try to find treasure chests that might have items for us. So
one thing that I like as we kind of gotten farther down in this Great Plateau is I feel like we can see more like the outside of Hyrule. Like, when we first came up to like that ledge, we saw a lot of Hyrule, but getting down kind of closer to this Great Plateau edge, we can kind of see more of like the actual landscape and the places that we'll visit throughout the game. So it just offered a different view, I guess, than it did like up by the Temple of Time.
It really does, and just it amazes me that like almost anything you can see in that landscape is a place you can go and explore. Once we get off this plateau, it blows my mind that you look around at like everything in the background, whether it's Death Mountain, the Twin Peaks we talked about earlier, things like that. It's just they're all places that we can actually go and explore. And I love that idea of just how big this world really is.
Now, I will say something about Nintendo. They told us that every place we could see, we could go explore. That is not actually true, but at the same time, I guess they had to cut off the map somewhere. But
that's true.
You'll see later on in the game, if you go to an edge, there's basically a canyon that you cannot cross. And you can see something on the other side of Red. I don't know if you've actually made it there yet or not.
I don't think I have.
There's like this big old canyon. Actually, it's not a canyon. It's just like a bottomless, like huge. It's a bottomless canyon, is what it is. But there's like a huge landscape on the other side. But anyways, this will go ahead and wrap up part 4.